21 Savage just released his new album, American Dream, today, and I listened to this for one time now. So this is kind of like my first reaction to the album's first experience that I had, but I gotta say, I'm very relieved that this is good, but today I want to give my thoughts on this album, so let's get straight into this. If you want to stay up to date with everything surrounding hip-hop, make sure to subscribe and also become a part of this community by joining our Discord server in the description. Real quick, if you don't want to listen to this, make sure to skip 10 seconds into the future, but you can now sign up for my free newsletter with the first link in the description. It comes every Sunday and it recaps everything that's been happening in hip-hop over the past week, so make sure to do that. So first of all, what was peculiar about this album was that we didn't have a single. We had that one song from the trailer that we didn't know yet which song it was gonna be, but it turns out it's the first real song on here. So let's go through the track list. First of all, I want to say though, like I predicted, that the album cover is kind of growing on me, so I don't hate it as much as I did at the beginning. But let's talk about the tracks. So the first song, American Dream, is kind of an intro about, I think this is his mother talking about wanting to give her son the best, life that he can have, the best opportunities for success that she can give. And this kind of like the intro to this whole thing. Also maybe, tying back to this concept of American dream, achieving your goals, him not being from the US originally, which he touches on a little bit later in the album. So I thought this was fitting, even though sometimes these intros are a little bit generic, but it's good. Then we have All of Me, which is the song that we've heard in that trailer, which I really like. I think it is the perfect way to enter into the album. Not that crazy 21 drop and then him going hard on a verse, but rather a more mellow track where he's still spitting bars, still reflecting on his life, but all in all, it's a more mellow track getting into this. This changes with Red Rum, which is going to be somewhat of an anthem with that hook that is like red rum, red rum, red rum. This is the first hard track that you can play on here, that if you get the aux in the car and you just play this is gonna slap. Then we have a Doja Cat feature on NHIE, which I still don't know what that acronym stands for. I couldn't pick it up from the song, but let me know if you know what this means. I like the song. I feared that Doja Cat was gonna take over the song, which she doesn't. I like that 21 has the larger part on here and also is the first one in here. She still did an amazing verse on here, and I think this was a very successful feature, and she wasn't even announced in the feature list, which was kind of weird because she's I believe the only one. Oh no, Burna Boy as well. So those two are the only ones that haven't been announced on his Instagram. Then we have Sneaky, which is to me the most generic 21 song on here. Even though it's still good, if you just drop this as a single, people would stay like, oh, 21 is back at it again. He dropped the fire single, but it's kind of from the substance matter to the instrumental to his flows, it isn't the most out there song. It's kind of like a solid song you can go to. Then we have Pop Your Shit with Young Thug and also Metro Boomin's production on this, and I'm happy that it's not the generic trap beat and Young Thug just coming in doing a usual Young Thug verse. The instrumental is a little bit unique. I really like that. I thought that maybe this was going to be a song that we're like, okay, it's like a basic 21 and Young Thug song. It is a little bit different, and maybe this is due to the Metro Boomin production, but that bounce in the beat, I really like that. Then Letter to My Brother is probably like the most, I guess, personal song on here. It's definitely slower. It takes out the pace coming from Pop Your Shit, and is low-key, I think it's a letter to his brother, literally. And he's talking about how they came up, how they came from the worst conditions possible and got so far. So I think, for 21, this is one of the most important songs on here. Dangerous with Lil Durk. Gotta say it's hard, but it's, again, like one of those generic songs that you can just get a Lil Durk verse on and he doesn't say much that he hasn't said already. It's still good though. It's still got that Metro Boomin production. It's a solid track. I mean, I'm complaining on a very high level here. Then the Travis Scott feature on Nina. That is dope. I mean, Travis is the first person on the song, so he comes in, almost takes over the first half of the entire song, and he has that old Travis flow, like that 2013 Days Before Rodeo, Al Faro, Travis verse, version on there. I like that. I really like that. 21 then finishes the song out strong, but gotta say the highlight on here is that old version of Travis Scott. Like, I gotta be completely honest. Then we have somewhat of a shift in here when we go to See the Real, when we turn from those more hard-hitting songs that you expect from 21 Savage, like Dangerous, like Nina, but then we have See the Real, and See the Real is him even singing a little bit, obviously supported with auto-tune, but still, this song is beautiful. I mean, this is one of the most beautiful 21 Savage songs that I've heard. So I feel like this balances out a lot of those hard-hitting songs on here very well. The same goes for Prove It. Obviously, Summer Walker is, taking over the singing part, but still it's a more mellow beat. You can even say R&B, maybe, it's very soft drums on there. It's a beautiful instrumental, and 21 takes over the part. It reminded me of what he did on Creepin' off of the Metro Boomin album, where you have a very mellow beat and you have a vocalist on there, in that case, The Weeknd, in this case Summer Walker, but he comes in and has his more, harsh voice, but it fits beautifully in contrast to the vocalist on there. So I really like that. Then we have the Brent Faiyaz feature on Shoulda Wore Your Bonnet, and this one is also pretty cool. It didn't stick with me as much as I thought that the Brent Faiyaz feature would stick with me, but I like that he shows that he can work with other artists like that. Like we talked about how maybe this wasn't going to be a good fit. How would a Brent Faiyaz feature fit with a 21 song? But 21 is really displaying on this album in general, this is one of the general points I got to make on this one, that he can work with a lot of different diverse artists, which I think is going to help him a lot in his career moving forward, maybe taking over some features in non-hip-hop songs, kind of what artists do when they expand and they get bigger. Then we have the Burna Boy song Just Like Me, which is what you would expect from a Burna Boy hook, and then a 21 verses on there. It's a nice song, can't complain about it. Then we have one of my favorite songs on here with Red Sky. In general, this is another general point that I want to make. I thought I was going to mention these at the end, but now I got to say this here. The samples on here, the interpolations and samples on this album in general, with a lot of these classical, maybe R&B, then also soul samples that he's flipping, or the producers are flipping on this album, starting with the first track, All of Me, reaching all the way to the last track, especially Red Sky, are amazing. Like, that is probably my favorite part about this album, where they have this sample at the beginning and then it drops into an instrumental that is like drums over that, so maybe flipped a little bit. That is nice. And Red Sky is a very epic, a very dramatic song that I think 21 displays his best qualities on. And the last track, Dark Days with Amir the Scientist, is a beautiful outro to this, and 21 saying some of the most realest shit he's ever said. Talking about it might sound lame, but stay in school, and giving all these positive quote-unquote messages out to the younger generation that obviously maybe he wouldn't have done 5-6 years ago, and maybe he's getting a little bit more aware of the impact he's having, and maybe some stuff that he's glorified in the past, he's not doing that anymore. So I think that this perfectly sums up the album. In general, this album shows another maturing process in 21's career. I am really, really happy about this album. If I had to give this a rating, which I'll do in the Discord as well, join the Discord by the way, I would give this album an 8, even like an 8.5. I saw Kai Cenat also gave it an 8.5, so I'm gonna give it an 8 because he could have maybe stepped out of his comfort zone a little bit more, but just the fact that he did on stuff like See the Real shows me that he's on a very, very good path. And I'm very relieved that this doesn't sound like a soundtrack. This doesn't sound like music inspired by the film. This is its own album, and I'm so excited to hear or see what the movie's going to be like connected to the music. So that's my review, or my first impression. Maybe this is going to change as I listen to it more over the next couple of days. But this is my review of American Dream, 21 Savage's latest new album. Let me know what y'all think about this. Do y'all have the same thoughts as me? Do you see some stuff different? Do you agree with me on certain things? Definitely let me know your thoughts on this in the comments down below. If you watched this video to the end and liked it, and you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that like button, and go follow my social media, and most importantly, join my Discord in the description. Until the next one, you'll have an incredible day, and y'all take care.